This morning, Michael Ball said that he plans on starting the 3 riders who were excluded. Have you talked with Mr. Ball today, and is there a plan for dealing with that situation?
Well, let me answer that question in 2 parts. The only riders who will be allowed to start are the riders who are officially on the roster, and there is a process by which the riders are put on the roster. As of today, we made in partnership with UCI and USA Cycling, we bent quite a number of rules over the last 36 hours to allow the inclusion of Mario Cipollini on the roster. He is on the roster. And as of today, Rock Racing has 5 riders on their roster, and 5 riders will be allowed to start. Mike Ball and I went for a bike ride this morning and spent about 45 minutes of the Davis Finley Foundation ride talking about various issues related to cycling. And while we have an enormous amount in common with respect to our passion for the sport, our hopes for the sport, and what we think is required to put the recent past behind us, I think it's fair to say that we differ on a number of issues. And I think also I should say that the specific nature of our disagreements are going to stay between Michael and I.
When the anti-doping initiative was announced a few weeks ago, the way I understood it was that AEG would ask both USA Cycling and the UCI for sort of which riders were going to be considered to be under investigation. And the 3 riders that are being excluded from the Rock Racing team have been implicated in some ways with Operation Puerto, but it's a bit of a gray area, as everybody probably knows. And so I'm just curious where that decision was made. Was it made within USA Cycling? These are foreign riders. Was it made within the UCI? I mean, at some point, somebody had to decide we consider these riders to be under investigation and we don't want them at this race.
I want to answer that question a little bit carefully, Neil, simply because as part of our agreement with our teams, we did agree to protect the confidentiality of the riders. We have no interest in highlighting individuals, and I think it's worth pointing out that our organization hasn't mentioned any riders who fell afoul of the rules that the 17 teams agreed to. That said, I will reveal that USA Cycling told us that there were no riders who were currently under investigation, and all of the riders who came back, and whose names they will remain nameless here. All of those riders came from the UCI, and in fact, all of them are affiliated with Operation Puerto.
Andrew, can you just clarify what you said? Was it the UCI who said not to let these 3 riders start? Because we got a letter from the UCI. It's a copy of the letter we got from Michael Ball this morning saying that it says, Mr. Sevilla is innocent until proven guilty. There is no current anti-doping rule or other legal impediment to Mr. Sevilla taking part in races.
Let me address that because I know that I've seen copies of that letter. What's important to understand about that letter is that it absolutely is irrelevant. Whether an athlete is eligible to ride in the UCI races has no bearing on what all 17 teams agreed to about the eligibility of riders for this race. Every team agreed that no riders who are under an open investigation would participate. It's different from UCI eligibility. Every team agreed that USA Cycling and the UCI would tell us about any riders who are currently under investigation. And that is the criteria, and that's the basis. That's the rule.
But the riders aren't actually under investigation in Operation Puerto. They're actually deemed as victims of the alleged malpractice of Dr. Fuentes.
According to the UCI, that's not true.